Well, hello there. So, today's podcast episode is going to be a little bit different. We're going to be looking at personalized medicine versus the precision paradox. It's probably going to be a quicker episode because I don't really, have that much to say about this, but it is an interesting topic. And, this podcast lately has been exploring things like modernity, postmodernity, philosophy, science, time, and space. So this is basically part two of that series, I suppose you might call it. But anyway, welcome to Critical Weight Theory, where we sometimes delve into fascinating concepts from philosophy, science, modern culture, politics, society in general, pop culture, all that fun stuff. So today's episode explores, philosophy and ethics and science, medicine, and I'm an armchair philosopher at best, as I've said. I'm not a scientist, I'm not someone who works in a lab. I don't have a lab coat and all that kind of cool stuff, but I do have some interesting talking points that may be interconnected in some ways, and we're gonna start off by going over a few simple philosophical insights on human nature. And, any philosophical view would face challenges. Humans are often prisoners of their desires and their beliefs. And, that's either inherent or conditional. I guess it depends on how the situation develops, the specifics of it. Because parts of our brains and our personalities are, of course, basically innate, but everything gets triggered by the world or the universe that we interact with. So it can really be a complex thing to say where we get our ideas or our identities from. And there's almost constantly a striving for at least some unattainable ideals. And that means we want the world to be clearer than it probably could ever be, and we want to understand ourselves and the universe. Well, I mean, for the most part, I suppose every once in a while people will shrug their shoulders and just say, "Hell with it, who cares?" And that sometimes describes me as well. But this is partly about those desires and ideals and how they contrast with, things like individual freedom and subjective experience, even on a more individual scale rather than on some grand philosophical scale. And that's partly what I think we're getting into when we delve into the topic of personalized medicine, which is sort of an example of philosophical principles applied to science, which is something, I'm interested in looking at here, despite not being that much of a scientist. So I'm going to define personalized medicine, sometimes just called PM, because everything has to be abbreviated like that. But basically, personalized medicine involves tailoring medical treatments to individual genetic characteristics to achieve optimal outcomes. Personalized medicine, also known as precision medicine, is mostly considered a valid approach to medicine that considers a patient's unique genetic makeup and other characteristics to tailor treatments. It's led to new discoveries and FDA-approved treatments that can improve a patient's chances of survival and potentially reduce adverse effects. So there's a quote I found at the NIH.gov website. Just as no two individuals are absolutely identical in structure, neither are their chemical processes identical. So that's from PubMed.ncbi. And then there's maybe I'll link to that article in the description if I can remember. But anyway, there was a critique of personalized medicine that I found, which was interesting and kind of is why I decided to make this episode, because I think it does provide some food for thought, even though I don't think it really would debunk the idea of, personalized medicine. But it's the precision paradox is what he calls it. And it's called the precision paradox: how personalized medicine increases uncertainty, by Henrik Vogt. That's VOGT. And the abstract, basically that's going to be what I'm going to use as the entire theme here. So this Henrik guy says that, quote, precision medicine or personalized medicine promises greater precision and certainty in medicine. This paper highlights a precision paradox, that it may, in important ways, also create more uncertainty and imprecision. First, the aim of precision medicine is to tailor treatment to the individual. However, when the number of individuals that are seen to have a specific health problem moves towards one, it becomes hard to employ randomized control trials or other statistically based methods. This creates uncertainty about what kind of rationality and evidence will be seen as validating what works in medicine. Just as biomedicine aims to turn personalization into science, the art of medicine resurfaces. Second, one strategy in precision medicine is to make models more complex in order to make them more accurate and thus certain. However, there is a fundamental tension between complexity and precision. Beyond a certain threshold, as more variables are included, models paradoxically become less precise. Third, in the preventive vision of precision medicine, a massive new form of screening is proposed where DNA is sequenced and multiple variables of human health are monitored through life. However, as each body is rendered transparent by multiple screening technologies, there is a risk of labeling each person with multiple health problems. Contrary to its promise of medicine at the right time in the right person, precision medicine, as proposed, will paradoxically be present all the time in everybody. So that's quite a mouthful. And I think it's easier to understand the sentences when you're reading them aloud, rather than if you're just reading it on paper. But when you're vocalizing them, I think it helps you to better understand the argument here. Basically, the idea is that if you're pinpointing things with precision, it's going to potentially become a more complex issue, because you're well, I mean, it's hard to sum it up better than what he said. But it's something that becomes less precise if you're including all these different variables. Now, I'm not sure how that exactly works out in real life. This might just be, dare I say it, some philosophical masturbatory type of stuff here that he was spouting off, but it does seem to be some food for thought, because really the point of simplicity and precision is kind of that you don't need to spend as much time, researching something, or considering all these different variables and whatever. But if you really want precision, you also kind of need to do that in order to know what the problem actually is. So I guess what I would say about this is that at the end of the day, what makes things complex here isn't so much human folly or anything like that. I don't think precision medicine is in itself that ridiculous of an idea, but life itself complicates it. So, it's a little bit of a strange thing to even think of it as a problem, because really the problem is more, it has more to do with health itself than any sort of human failure. Yet at the same time, if you look at it from this same perspective that this Henrik Vogt, VOGT, was applying, it starts to look like human folly. So that's really one of the one of the interesting yet also kind of zany things about it. So anyway, that basically is all I have to say about it. And you have a good day. Tell me what you think in the comments if you can.